Hi, everyone. My kid makes me laugh. As always, I'll give everyone a few minutes to pop on, but if you're watching the replay, hi. Please feel free to still comment, share the video, send me comments, or ask questions via Messenger. So as you're coming on, please say hi to me. Hi, Mom. Tonight we're talking about belief systems, mainly focusing around religion and spirituality, but also just in general what belief systems are. So if you are joining me live, hi, welcome. Please say hi to me, or give the video a thumbs up. I don't even know if that's still a thing. Like the video, love the video, share the video, all the things. But most importantly, say hi so I can say hi back. Happy to have you here with me tonight. On this lovely Tuesday evening. It's really beautiful here in Northeast Ohio. And we are in 2 days, we are getting into Leo season. The sun moves into the zodiac sign of Leo, the lion. So I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And so that's Thursday. And then Friday, we have a full moon. Hi, Sherry. And that is in the opposite sign of the sun sign. So the full moon's always in the opposite sign of whatever sun sign. So we will be in Leo, so it's Aquarius. Full moons are fabulous for releasing any yuck, basically anything. It's always a good time to release, but it's also just more powerful with the full moon. And when you're able to release whatever's no longer serving you, when our hands are open to give, they're also open to receive. So any of the manifestations that you've been trying to bring in over the last 6 months, since the new moon in Aquarius happened late January, early February, somewhere in there, when we were in the sun sign of Aquarius, way back when, then just release any blocks, any obstacles. Aquarius is an air sign, so lots of thought, intellect. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. Hi, Carrie. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for saying hi now, because I can't always see. I can see a number. I can see like 10 people are watching, but I don't always know who those 10 people are at any given moment. So anyway, Aquarius is an air sign, thought, intellect. So probably a really great time to, thank you. It's very bright and summery. A little crazy today. It's second day here, so it's a little crazy, but thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you too, Carrie. I was thinking about you today and the last reading that I did for you a couple months ago. So I hope you're doing well. So releasing any mental blocks that you might have, any negative thinking, any patterns of negative thinking, doesn't have to be related to your manifestations, but kudos if so. Can just be old, outdated stuff that's not serving you anymore. Old, outdated belief systems that are creeping up and ready to be released. So make sure that Friday, Saturday, sometime you carve out a little bit of time to release, do a little release ceremony. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate it. So make sure that you carve out some time for yourself. Yay, I would love to see you on Saturday, Carrie. I'd love to see everybody on Saturday. I will be at the lovely Crystal Den with beautiful Joy Mitchell. She's doing a Christmas in July at her shop, the Crystal Den in Barberton. So if you're local or if you feel like taking a little road trip, come out and see us. If you want a specific time slot, I'll be there giving readings, 15 minutes. You can book back-to-back readings, or if there's two of you and you both want readings, then that's great. You can come in together and we'll just book a double session, do half an hour. If you want a specific time, like if you're driving from farther away and you want a specific time guaranteed, just let me or Joy know. You can private message us or text us if you know us personally, and be happy to do that for you. Otherwise, walk in just anytime between 11 and 3. I will do a little PSA right now. Don't park on the street in front of the shop, because the theater company is going to be doing a live performance out in the street around 2 o'clock. So right kind of towards the end of our time. And I'm sure it's going to be fabulous, but you probably won't be able to get into your car and go. So just know, make sure you park either behind the movie theater or down a block or so. So just so you know. Anyway, full moon in Aquarius, working our way back here. There's this is going to be a really great energy for you to release any negative thought patterns that aren't serving you. So, as always, I'm going to be just a little bit nerdy with you, talking about belief systems. So basically, I am not here to change your mind. None of anything that I do is to change your mind. It's simply to open you up to maybe some new possibilities or unrealized possibilities. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to a belief system, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Obviously, your belief system is yours and yours alone. And it's shaped by our childhood experiences. So what did the people, much like grief, you've heard me talk about that, where our culture, how we're raised, what the adults around us did during those times tells us how we should act and respond, and it shapes us. Now, as adults, the onus is upon us to have more of a, just that, I'm going to go back to where that ownership, that 1% responsibility. It's on us to change if it's something that doesn't resonate with us anymore. Often as we have life experiences, our belief systems change. Whether it's cultural, if you're taught that a certain population is bad or dangerous, or lazy or whatever, insert negative term here. As we grow physically and as people, we can encounter those individuals and see that some of those stereotypes are wrong, or what we were taught, that belief system that we were taught, that was imposed upon us by the adults around us, is just not true. It's not true. So we can change our way of thinking. Absolutely. Any given time, any given day, it's upon us. So there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer when it comes to these belief systems. It just is. We can choose to see them in a positive or negative light, but we all have our own set of beliefs, and that's okay. We don't always agree with each other. That's what makes this world so beautiful. You're never going to 100% agree with everybody on everything. No matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much you respect somebody, you're not always going to share the same belief system. That's okay. So belief system, I thought this was funny. I learned this in grief recovery. So it's BS. What's another not PG-13 BS that you can think of? Don't type it. But I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down. Sometimes a belief system is BS, or we come to the conclusion that it's BS in a different way. So religion and spirituality are often considered taboo in general public conversation. So I'm breaking that right now. You're welcome. Whether it's at school, at work, whatever, politics, religion, avoid at all costs, right? That's what we're always told. That's not something that you're supposed to talk about, because it has the power to unite us or divide us. Whether it's at the dinner table with family and friends, or it's in a work situation, or it's in a classroom, or whatever environment it is, it does have a lot of power. Belief systems have a lot of power. So sometimes this power can result in violence, whether it's physical violence, social, emotional, verbal, mental, something, whether you argue or your voices get raised, not nice words come out, somebody physically leaves, that can happen because it's that powerful. People believe what they believe and they cling to that belief system, and that's okay. My goal tonight is to help you understand the differences and maybe give you some strategies to use whenever you don't agree with somebody. To me, there is one universal truth, and that is to love one another. In every single culture, in every single civilized society, in every single religion, the golden rule. It might be worded very differently, but it has that common theme of treat other people how you want to be treated. We all want to be loved. We all want to be treated with respect and dignity. And we need to give each other that respect. It is very lacking, at least in our society right now. So, I'm going to outline some define my terms. I'm a communication major. My bachelor's degree is in communication, so bear with me. When we define our terms, we're all on the same page. That's something my dad always said. Being an entrepreneur, having a small business, very successful, thankfully, small business for 30 some years, he always said, if we all use the same terminology, if we call things if we call a screwdriver, we all know what that means. So when we title things, when we define our terms, then we're able to be on the same page. So faith overall is, by dictionary definition, a belief, confidence or trust in something or someone. I have faith in you. I have faith in divine timing. I have faith in whatever it is. It's not necessarily something that's based on hard physical proof, so scientific method, but it is based on teachings and doctrines, often from religion. We do tend to have faith under the religion category. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Hi, Other Beth. There's a certain code of ethics, standards, or merit, etc., that encapsulate faith. Religion. So faith, to me, faith and spirituality are kind of catch-all terms. So when we get into religion is a specific fundamental set of beliefs and practices that are generally agreed upon by a group of people. So whenever you have a religion, this is man-made. That's why there are so many different religions in the world. There's Christianity, which is like 31% of the world population is Christian. Muslim, Islam, which is the second largest, like 25% of the world population is Islamic. Hindu, Judaism, Buddhism, paganism, all the isms, they're all religions. Those are just the most common. There are a lot of other religions out there, but the point is that they're all man-made. So those people, it's kind of like a club. They got together, they decided on the rules, and they're all playing by the rules. And if you don't like that, you can go away. Now, with these rules, we'll stay on that thread. These rules dictate everyday life and often have that code of conduct. As they're practicing these religious beliefs, they'll say there's a certain ceremony that has to be done for certain things to be deemed right or appropriate. So these beliefs, these ways of being vary from sect to sect, from region to region, from culture to culture. It trickles down from a macro big level to a micro small level. So when we look at Christianity, as we have Christianity, then we have kind of two branches. We have Catholic and then we have not. So Protestant, Catholic and Protestant. And there's a lot, world religion was one of my minors in college. So history with a focus on world religion. So I will geek out about world religions for hours. So if you ever want to have a conversation about that, I could do that. But generally speaking, there's a reason why Christianity is broken into those two. So Catholic, there's like Roman Catholic, and there's Orthodox, and there's blah, 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 blah. There's different types of Catholic. And then they all follow the Pope. And then in Christianity, with the Protestant side, you have Lutheran, which was the OG Protestant. Then you have Presbyterian, which is like a first cousin. And then you have Methodist, which is another cousin. You have Baptist, and then you have the non-denominational, which is a denomination in and of itself, however, whatever. So there's all these different sects, if you will, these different ways of practicing under the umbrella religion of Christianity. So everything can be very different, and we don't always agree with each other. There are some Catholics who believe that Protestants were excommunicated from the church, and therefore they're not even Christian. Then there are some that are like, okay, that's cute, you go ahead and do what you do, but you're not allowed to practice. When you come into a cathedral, I'm not going to say you're not allowed, but you cannot participate in any of the rites, 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 like communion, baptism, marriage, etc. So there's different belief systems within a belief system, like a Russian doll. Gets pretty convoluted, and I won't go into it tonight, but just for that example of how there are different variations of a belief system. Moving from religion into spirituality, more and more people are, it's like 40% of the world population say I'm spiritual, kind of that spiritual but not religious thing. They believe in a higher power or something of that sort. However, they don't subscribe to any particular man-made religion, any particular way of saying that this is right, this is the right, R-A-G-H-T, this is the right way to do something. They're like, hey, just live by the golden rule, love one another. They might have something from probably their childhood or something that they resonate with as an adult. They might say, Jesus is pretty cool, but not in the way that the Bible says. It's a different relationship. They might combine a couple different religions. I'm of the belief system that no one religion is completely right, that there's truth to be found in every light-based religion. Spirituality is basically the belief in something supernatural. So something more. There's something more than this. There's something bigger than this physical world. I don't exactly know what to call it, but I believe in it. Cool, that's spirituality. They're aware of conscious life, of this oneness. Most of them believe, much like the religions, that there is life after a physical death. Our spirit disconnects from the physical body and goes somewhere else. Then we have the agnostic and atheist group. So they're, people get pretty tripped up on these two terms. A lot of times they'll be used interchangeably in modern nomenclature, but it's really, there is a fundamental difference. So agnostics are uncertain. They say, I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but they're basically Sweden. They're neutral. They're not taking a firm stance one way or another. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just going to go live my life. Okay. Atheist. So if you think of theism, theology, That is basically a belief in a deity. If you're atheistic, that means without. So atheists completely deny and disbelieve the existence of any supreme being, of anything else. That we're just here, and when we die, and that's it. That there's not anything beyond what we have here. So I have yet to meet any true atheists personally. I mean, if you have and you want to share your experience, please feel free to do so, or just like raise your hand. I have encountered agnostics. Most people that I encounter are spiritual, but I have encountered a few agnostic people who just are like, I don't know. True atheists, not so much. And that kind of gives me hope because at our core, we do understand that we came from somewhere and we will return once we leave this matrix that we call Earth, physical life. Generally speaking, spiritual, religious, not religious, most people that I talk to today in the 21st century dislike the idea of an old white dude sitting up on a mountaintop ready to smite us for our sins. Like, nobody likes that. Nobody thinks of that. Like, really? This picture has been painted, bear with me. This picture of an angry, spiteful God that will basically smack you with a ruler if you get out of line has been painted. It's a control of organized religion, and it's medieval in its thinking. It didn't really exist until medieval times, until we hit triple digits. Well, really even quadruple digits, since we hit like the 1000s. It was formulated by, in my opinion, by fearful people who had a love of power and money. It's a way to control. During the Dark Ages, a lot of people they weren't able to read. They were just focused on day-to-day survival. It was pretty tough time. They didn't always know where their next meal was going to come from. They weren't the cleanest. It was kind of a yucky time. So people would cling to any form of hope that they were offered. And when for the sake of argument, I'm just going to say these church elders came in and were like, hey, if you pay us, whether it's money, grain, whatever your barter system is, whatever your currency is, if you give us 10 silver coins, I don't even know, 10 silver coins, we'll say prayers for your soul to guarantee that you get into heaven. And thus formulated this snowball, this avalanche of, hi Heather, of paying. You're paying for your sins, literally paying for these things. And this love of power and money, this have and have nots, we still see it today. I love the Zon. I do. It's so easy, and it like eats a little bit at my soul every time I purchase something. But Jeff Bezos just got shot up into space while he's giving starvation wages to people and won't allow them to formulate a union. I mean, come on. So I'm not going to get political, I promise. But it's still in our society today, in the 21st century, the haves and the have-nots, whether it's a belief system, and it's fear. It's like that whole bake more pie analogy. If you have a chocolate pie and somebody sits down beside you and says, hey, I would like a piece of that chocolate pie, that doesn't mean that your piece is any smaller. Bake more pie. That's how the universe works. Bake more pie. There's always ingredients. There's always an oven preheated, ready to go. Bake more pie. So we don't have to be in that power struggle It's an illusion. My experience is that God, goddess, universe, source, oneness, spirit, whatever you want to call it, loves us unconditionally and just wants us to be happy. Bake more pie, right? So you might ask, but then why is there suffering? Okay, bear with me. Our souls choose different experiences. Now, again, stay with me, hear me out. No one chooses to be in a car accident. No one chooses to have cancer. No one chooses whatever their stuff is. They do. Hi, Aunt Cindy. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. So when we're in our pre-planning stage with our spirit team on the other side, we are basically checking off the boxes saying, these are the lessons that I want to learn in this lifetime. And therefore, that is why we choose the meat suit, the avatar that we choose. This way, we're able to have those experiences. So maybe you choose to present male or female. Maybe you choose to be born in one body and identify as the opposite gender or agender. We're seeing a lot of that right now, where those who are transgender or non-binary, just means I don't choose one of those two options, I choose my own path, are coming out. And I think those souls are incredibly brave. They're coming through and saying, I'm going to go ahead and smash this way of thinking, this old outdated belief system that says there are only two genders. Are there? Maybe that's what our avatar presents, but how does my soul feel? Souls don't actually have genders. That is an earth concept because of evolution and biology. Our souls are choosing the meat suit that matches the lessons to be learned. So we might choose, think of it as a uniform. So as you're choosing what you need for that particular sport, it's pretty hard to play baseball with a hockey puck. And you might want some shoulder pads if you're going to be playing football. So we're choosing right brain, left brain. So if you're an artist, you're going to choose one way, whereas if you're a scientist, you're going to choose the other, so that you can appropriately achieve what it is you're setting yourself out to do. Advantaged, disadvantaged, your race, your ethnicity, the culture where you're born, so that you can have your experiences. Bottom line, the universe just wants you to be happy. I've never talked to a spirit that said, yeah, you deserve that pain and suffering. Never. I have never. It's more like you feel the pain and suffering because you're not going in the flow that your soul is trying to steer you. That's why. You have this perceived bad experience. So some of the common denominators for these various belief systems is that we all want to believe something. We all want to be loved. I said this earlier. We all want to be loved. We all want to be treated with respect. But we all want to believe something, whether it's a higher power, that there's just more to life than what we experience here in the physical world with our 5, 6 senses. Or you're just making, if you're completely atheist, you're just making the most out of the time that you have on this planet. The journey ultimately is yours. And we need to allow space for everyone to feel safe in expressing who they are. It's okay to have a belief system, but don't oppose it on other people, right? Whatever your belief system is, it's your right to have that belief system if it feels right for you. But don't tell other people that that's how they have to live their life or that they're wrong. And don't let anybody do that to you. Put up your boundaries and say, you know, just because you didn't choose this path, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that it's different. This is my experience. This is my life. These are my choices, and I have to make them. It's no one else's responsibility but your own. You're allowed to ask advice, absolutely. But even people who have been through the same experience as you still need to take it with a grain of salt, because their stuff and their experience and their path and their trajectory through life has equipped them a little bit differently than it has for you. And the converse is true. So always just weigh your options. You do have the right, at least in the United States, to worship as you choose, but you're not allowed to hurt other people in the process. And by hurt, I don't just mean like a sacrificial lamb. I mean, Westboro Baptist Church can just burn to the ground. I'm not making a threat. I'm just saying that belief system can just go away. How's that? We'll say that. I don't wish harm upon anyone. Unlike them, they are very narrow in their thinking. And it does hurt other people. It emotionally hurts other people. It can even physically hurt other people. Now people are extreme. We know that. We see that every day, unfortunately, in the news. We see that there are extremists out there who will hurt other people, physically hurt other people. And that is not okay. So if they get certain ideas put in their head by these organizations, then they go and they hurt people. See? It does. Your teaching, not your, but their teachings can hurt other people. See what I mean? You don't have the right, just because you have a belief system, doesn't mean you have the right to hurt anybody else. Whether it's physically, emotionally, just their safety, their right, their well-being. If it's not hurting you, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. You can agree to disagree if that feels right for you. There are some things that are very fundamental. You might not understand why somebody thinks the way that they do, and therefore one or both of you chooses to stop contact. And that's okay. That's a boundary. Otherwise, if it's like, okay, that's you. You can coexist with others. It doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong, or vice versa. Another common denominator is that it's all about relationships and a sense of belonging. We are social creatures. As humans, we are social creatures. And there are people who might make you think otherwise, like, wow, they're just a loner. They do not want to be around other people. And there are some people who do thrive primarily being on their own, but that doesn't mean that they don't want to belong somewhere. I have a son with autism, and he, when he was little, he'd want to play with other kids, but he didn't always know how to do that appropriately. So unfortunately, sometimes he would alienate those other kids on the playground, and the parents would look at me like, what's wrong with your kid? He's crazy. He's walking around like, roar at these other kids because he's like, oh, they don't like dinosaurs? He was being a dinosaur. He knew what he was doing. I learned to know what he was doing, but other people didn't have a clue. They just saw some crazy kid running at them and yelling. They didn't and it was scary for them. So I had to explain to Michael, you have to approach the other kids and say, hey, I'm a dinosaur. You want to play dinosaurs? Roar! And get their permission. So now he has, he told me, and I know COVID made things weird, but at school he would say he would just listen to music or he would just read during lunch or study hall. And I would ask him, are you talking with other kids, trying to get this whole social thing going? And he's like, no, there's really no one I want to talk to. No one wants to talk about the things I want to talk about. And it breaks my heart a little bit to think of him sitting at a table by himself, just nose in a book or with his earbuds in or whatever. And then I realized that's okay. It's okay. That's his choice. That's what he wants to do. That's what makes him feel safe and comfortable. He has a sense of belonging in our family unit, with our extended family, and at Scouts. He just got, yay, okay, sorry, I have a proud mom brag. He just got his rank advancement last night to Star. So he just has, in the next probably 6 months, he has to do 6 months worth of leadership and so many hours of community service stuff and projects and like 2 more merit badges. But in the next, probably after the first of the year, he's going to advance to life, and then he has Eagle. And that's it. He has worked so hard for this. I'm so proud of him. And, oh, thanks everybody. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty darn cool. So he has that. Thank you for allowing me to brag about my kid. I'm not humble bragging about him. I love my kid, and it is no secret, and he is just the best person on the planet. Anyway, he's fantastic. So he has this sense of belonging in other places. It doesn't have to be at school, and that's okay. And that's something I had to learn. But he's still a social creature. He still wants to interact with other people. It's just on a different level. So we have this sense of belonging. We all just want to belong somewhere. We all just want to be loved and feel safe. So who we are at our core is what's important. You can live a good life and be an atheist. A lot of people will have it in their head, again, this portrayal, this fear-based portrayal of somebody who like wears all black and maybe has a green mohawk and 50 piercings and a bunch of tattoos. They might, but you could also see that person walking into an animal shelter and caring for those creatures in the most lovely way. Don't judge a book by its cover. So just having this love for one another and dealing with someone from a different belief system from yours. The best thing that can be done is if we just show compassion and hold space for each other and make sure that it's non-judgmental, that it's a safe zone. There's, in higher education, I've worked at 3 different colleges, and all 3 of them had safe space training for the LGBTQ plus community. So if you go through that training, you get, whether it's a sticker or a name badge or something that says, I'm an ally, I'm a safe place, I myself am a safe person to talk to, my office is a safe space, come on in if you need to talk, if you don't feel safe. So be that safe space for others to come to you and express. And if we can have a civil conversation, we find out that we have more in common than we do different. Religion, politics, 2 biggies. A lot of people strongly identify in some way. And it's okay that we have differences. We need those checks and balances. Not everybody sees things the same way. And we can have this conversation when we all come to the table. The more diversity that we have at the table, the better it's going to be for everybody. There is not one race, there is not one religion, there is not one culture, there's not one way of being. We're all here to experience. And chances are you've already had a couple of lifetimes where you've experienced other things, and you'll have other lifetimes to experience more things. Building that foundation, kind of like in school. kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. Although the math my kid is doing, I'm like, did I take that? I had to have taken that. But I don't remember how that works because I don't use it every day. But it all builds on top of each other. So laying out maybe some ground rules if you need to have the conversations with other people that if you're afraid. I usually say this around the holidays, especially the last few years, as I've become more aware of things. Being able to maybe set some ground rules of, okay, we don't agree on certain things. And you can say, I don't want to talk about it. It's totally fine. You don't have to talk about it if it doesn't make you feel safe. You can say, I'm going to do the timeout if I feel like this isn't working. I don't want a rift in the family. I don't want a rift with my friends, whoever it is, whoever your group is. You can set ground rules. You're going to talk for 5 minutes and then I'm going to talk for 5 minutes. You can have a sheet of paper in front of you and write it down if you're afraid you're going to lose a thought. They say something and you have a rebuttal. No interrupting, no yelling, being respectful, using respectful language, no name calling. These are things that you'll learn in therapy, just for fair fights. And I really don't like to use the word fight. I wish there was a better way to say that, but that's not coming to me right now. But having a solid conversation and setting up those ground rules, you can do that. My belief system is different than yours. I would maybe seek first to understand. Tell me more about your thought process. Tell me more about why you think that. Tell me, and if they say, well, it's just how I was raised, or that's just what I was told. Okay, well, what's your experience been? And when we can challenge each other, you're also challenging yourself to be able to speak to that. So, I hope that was helpful in some fashion for you. The full moon. So if you have questions, I know there's a lag. There's like a 15-second delay. But if you have questions or thoughts, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology coming up. So, who wants a card? The full moon, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there, maybe overnight, is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. Heather has a question. Hi, Matt. Oh, thanks. Heather, when you plan out your life, are you planning out all of your decisions too, or is it free will on earth that decides if you stay on your path? Way to bring up free will. Okay, so yes, there's like mile markers of things that you say, I want to experience this, but your free will choices will take you down a different path. All roads lead to the same destination. It's just a matter of if you go straight through or if you take the long way around. Does that make sense? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That's about one of 3 math facts that I remember. Period, end of story. Not a math person. Communication major. Bad at math. So your free will choice, blue pill or red pill, bad example. That's actually a very different, if you choose the red pill, it's a very different outcome than the blue pill. Left or right? That's a game that I would like to play whenever I would go for a drive, if somebody else was in the car, whether it was, you got it, Carrie, whether it was my son or whoever I was dating at the time or a friend. Left or right, we come to an intersection. Sometimes it was forward, left, right, forward. It's like left, right, center. It's a great game. It's a fun game. Anyway, left, right, forward. And either way, we were going to the same place. It was just a matter of which way. My son would get to the point where he would say, which one's the fastest way home? And I'd say left. He goes, left. But if we were up for a drive, it would be go right. And then you have to make a series of turns to get back to where you were actually trying to go. Carrie. Making lots of left turns. Same. Sometimes the opposite of free will. Sometimes we're given detours. Sometimes the road's closed. Hey, we choose to go this way. Oh, crap, the road's closed. Now we got to go turn around and go back down and take that other path. That's when opportunities represent themselves. That whole anything that's meant for you will not miss you. It's like a merry-go-round. It'll come around again. Gotten lost, just ask your angels to help. Absolutely. Angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, departed loved ones, whoever it is for you, gods, goddesses. Yep, absolutely. Just ask for spiritual guidance. Sometimes I won't necessarily know, or I don't want it to be like calling on a certain set of deities that are like, yeah, we can help, but maybe that set over there would be better to ask. Hey, we're angels. We can help you out all you want, but your spirit guide's actually probably going to be a little bit better because they actually encountered this during their lifetime on Earth, hence why they're your spirit guide. So I just say, whoever can help me the most in God's divine white light for the highest and greatest good, help, please, help. So yes, absolutely, whoever you choose. Carrie, I hope you can make it Saturday. It's good to see you. It's been a while. A time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo. Hopefully you can see that. Beautiful. A time to give rather than take. The good advice. But the new moon in Virgo will occur in probably September. I don't have a calendar right in front of me, but you can do a quick Google search. When is the new moon in Virgo? 2021. But Virgo season is usually like around the 20th of a month. So the 20th of August to about the 20th of September. So sometime in there will be a new moon. So if you're looking for a timing card, there you go. And Heather, you got it. Anyone else want a card? I can do general just for everybody. Heather, what are you doing Saturday? Specifically between 11 and 3. Heather, you got prosperity lies ahead. The new moon in Taurus. Well, looky there. That's beautiful. Prosperity lies ahead. That is so good for you right now. Oh, my light just shut off. Hold on. It's because my screensaver popped on. It's plugged into my computer. So the new moon in Taurus happened. Tone that down a little bit. Woof, blinded me. The new moon in Taurus happened probably in May, maybe mid-May. So mid-April to mid-May is Taurus season. Could also be next year. There you go. Hi, Kathy. I just saw you on Saturday, this past Saturday. Nothing planned yet. Okay, Heather. So if there's, thank you. If there's an opportunity, Joy's doing her Christmas in July event at the shop. She's doing a sale and there's going to be prizes and I'm going to be giving away something too. I'm kind of riding on Joy's coattails, as always. But she asked me to do readings, so I will be there doing 15-minute readings. You can book ahead of time, or you can just walk in. You can also do back-to-back. So if you want a 30-minute time slot, that's fine. So I'm going to be giving away a reading too. I don't really know how she's doing. I don't know if she's doing a raffle or just a drawing. I'm not sure, but anyway. So the full moon in Aquarius, because it's the opposite sign of the sun sign. So on Thursday, Thursday we'll be moving into Leo. Leo is a very strong sign, energy. So Leo is the lion, so very proud, likes to be in the spotlight, a little bit center of attention, very well dressed and always put together and looks good and feels good and is kind of the life of the party. Sagittarius is too, but they're both fire signs, so some passionate energy. You're a Leo, Heather. That's beautiful. Do you resonate with any of that? I know we're all more than just our sun sign, but your sun sign is your essential self. That is who you are overall, the strongest parts of your personality. Carrie, I literally had a thought of you in my head yesterday. I could hear you saying that when your hands are open to give, they're also open to receive. Niecy Nash. It was a show. Oh my gosh, I cannot for the life of me think of what it was actually called. It wasn't Hoarders, but it was something like it. And she got people to get rid of their unnecessary physical stuff, but also emotional. So they would have, basically, she would get them to part with things that were not serving them in any good way. And they would have a big garage sale, and then they would use that money to go and basically like redecorate, whether it was paint or buy new furniture or whatever for their house, just give them this whole new refresh. And she would tell them when our hands are open to give, they're also open to receive. And that has stuck with me for probably 20 years. It is. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a really good way to think of just life in general. If it's not serving you, let it go. Whether it's something physical or emotional or a belief system. Aquarius, so the full moon, opposite sign of the sun sign. So opposite sign is Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. So fire and air are opposites. Water and earth are opposites. So the intellect, any outdated ways of thinking, I keep thinking of the Eight of Swords and how that energy is just mental entrapment. I have my steampunk deck. I'll show you. Have some Leo traits. Loyal, yes, loyal. Very regal energy. I always think of the lion from The Wizard of Oz. Fiery at times, yes, a lot of us can be triggered. Definitely not completely. Right. So with this, here it is. So the Eight of Swords. So you can see how she's blindfolded, but what you probably can't see because of the camera is that it's actually kind of sheer. She can kind of see through it. It's just foggy. And the swords are around her. So it's this illusion that she's trapped, but she's not. She can just get up off that throne and walk away. Hi, Erin. So as she thinks that she's trapped, but she's not. It's an illusion. So getting rid of that energy, that mental entrapment, thinking that you're stuck, that will block that. If you think you're stuck, you're going to be stuck. Our thoughts are extremely powerful. So whatever I don't know why I'm shuffling my deck. I'm just shuffling. She can get up. She can walk away. And the same is true for you. You have the power to change your thoughts, to change your way of thinking. As I said at the beginning, the onus is upon us as adults to change our way of thinking. If it's not serving us, let it go. You guys watched me shuffle. I can't with the synchronicities. All right, so yeah, get out of your negative thought processes, that mental entrapment. Let it go. Let it go. What's making you feel stuck? I know. All the laughing. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Can't make this up. Can't. All right. Card for everybody. It is not an eclipse, but conclusions are within reach. The full moon eclipse. Yep. Conclusions are within reach. So when we let go of that old, outdated belief system, that old, outdated way of thinking, then we are open to, we can close one chapter and start writing a new chapter. So, as always, I hope that this was helpful in some way, even if it just challenged a little bit of your way of thinking, or helped you when interacting with other people who might have a different belief system. Remember, just be compassionate, be kind. Even if somebody's not giving you the same courtesy, you'll feel a lot better because you were kind, because you were compassionate, because you were a safe space. And you never know. That person might come back to you a week, a month, a year, a decade later and say, I remember when we had that conversation. Thank you. One small act of kindness can create such a large ripple effect. You never know who you touch just by doing something. And it might not even be that person. It might be somebody else 2-3 times removed from that conversation. You never know. Absolutely, Erin. You got it. So one more time, Saturday, Crystal Den, 11 to 3, Christmas in July. Erin, you got 2. What do you need to release? There you go. It's the waning moon, which is wax on, wax off. So when we have a waxing moon, it's filling up to the full moon. Waning is like coming back down to new moon. So I also love all of the snow in this. That is air, intellect, energy. And then you also got take time to breathe out. Let it go, release, the disseminating moon. So that is right after the full moon. So your timing here is just after this full moon. So this will probably be a day or two after. So Sunday, Monday, and then keep going that whole next week. Just keep releasing, keep breathing, let it go. Do a release ceremony. Everybody can do a release ceremony. Write down, and that's my favorite. I have a lot of Aries energy in my chart. So a lot of fire, a lot of energy. It can be pretty feisty. Everybody hush. But I like to write down on paper what it is I'm releasing. Crumple it up, light a match, well, a lighter, light it up, and burn it safely outside. You can, if you have a fire pit or a fireplace, you can do that. And if not, you can dig like a little hole in the earth and let it burn and put the ashes in the earth and bury it. Or you can just shred it to pieces and bury it. Whatever it is for you, do that. The important part is just your intention. Just let it go. You can do a breath ceremony. There are all kinds of meditations out there that can help you release and let go. Go to counseling and just just let it out. Just let it go. Just get it all out of there. Scoop and release. There's a lot of Reiki that can happen. There you go. Perfect. Anything that you just think, go with the first things that come to mind. It could be something, the way that our brains work, it's probably something that happened pretty recently. It's pretty surface. And then kind of drill down and see where that came from. For others, it could be because I've already put the idea in your head about childhood programming. You might go back to a conversation that you had with an adult in your life when you were 6, 7, 8 years old and say, that's BS. That belief system is BS. And I'm done with it. That does not serve me. I don't like that. I don't like thinking that a certain group of people are dangerous or bad simply because of the color of their skin or that they wear a head covering. You know, whatever it is. I don't believe that. That's right. Or that it's not okay that I don't identify how my physical body looks. Whatever it is. Let it go. Any other questions, thoughts, suggestions for the next live? I have a few ideas, but this one was really quick. I usually try to give everybody a few days notice whenever I'm going to do a live, but I have a lot going on. So this was the night that won. And it just came to me that, hey, I was reading an article about religion and reconciling. Someone was of a certain religion and was romantically involved with someone who was non-religious at all. So just reconciling. And it popped into my mind, a lot of people might be struggling with this, and how can I use my platform to get the message out? And again, it was really channeled when I was, now it's all crumpled because I used it as a show and tell, but my notes. Well, if nobody else has any thoughts or questions, I, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you're catching the replay, please still feel free to just pop on, say hi if you have questions. I know not everybody likes to ask certain things or share certain things on a public forum, so as always, feel free to send me a message, and I am happy to answer any questions that I can. And again, if you would like to come join us on Saturday for some fun from 11 to 3 out at the Crystal Den in Barberton, please feel free to stop by. You don't have to get a reading with me. You can just wave and say hi. Always happy to see you. And of course, promoting joy. I'm telling you, you won't leave without buying at least something. A $5 crystal, it doesn't matter. You're gonna want to take a piece of that magic home with you. I always do. I never leave that shop empty-handed. So well worth it. All of these pretties that you see all around me, this beautiful thing, all from Joyce. And it's just a beautiful experience. And I'm pretty sure she's gonna have mimosas. So she usually does. So if nothing else, just come say hi and have a mimosa and just be in the energy. It's fabulous. And for anybody who knew Den, her brother, who passed away a couple years ago, you can still very much feel him there. And it's lovely. Yes, yes, yes. Love Joy, love the Crystal Den. Beautiful energy. She was my Reiki master teacher. And she can teach all levels. So if you're interested in learning Reiki, hit her up. So thank you so much for joining me. As always, have a great night, stay safe, and enjoy this beautiful weather while we've got it. Take care.